Got all this morning dew out here. Taking Max for a walk. Hey guys, welcome back. Good morning, depending on whenever you're watching this video. It's morning for me. It's morning for me and Max. Today's Wednesday, and it's actually pretty cool because Wednesday, which I think it's this Wednesday, we have Wind Down Wednesday. And that's when pretty much everybody in our community comes together and meet up. There's a food truck and there's wine, and it's just an opportunity for the neighborhood, for everybody to hang out together, chat, catch up, meet, mingle, and just further promote this idea of community. And obviously this is important for so many different reasons, but if you think about it from the perspective of how to build a community and why building a community is so important and how it even works. And in my opinion, I think the reason why it works so well when you build community is because there's a goal. Everybody has a job, everybody has a role, and in that it is imperative for the success and survival of the community. For instance, you'll have carpenters that are building, and then you'll have nurses and doctors that are healing, and then you'll have hunters and gatherers that are feeding, and so on and so forth. We're talking about like back in the day, before modern times and what we have now at the disposal at our fingertips. But at the end of the day, the simple concept remains of how to build a community and why it works so well. But I think, unfortunately, this concept has evaded and just completely been lost in how we operate today, how we function today, how we go to business today. And 3 headlines this morning, really, really telling. Side note, if you're watching, I appreciate it. Last night, YouTube had an outage. It was down. I'll talk more about it in another video. But it's getting harder and harder to get reach and get views. But I think our community is still growing, so that's a plus. Now, these 3 headlines that I came across, as my dog wraps the leash around his leg. How do you do this every time? How do you do this? You don't know how leashes work? All right, so we'll get to that one. PNC profit falls 21% amid weaker interest income, which I find that relatively hard to believe considering how high interest rates are right now. But maybe this is saying that despite higher interest income, maybe there's 2 things happening. One, people are using their credit cards less, or at least using the bank less for interest earning opportunities for the banks through loans and credit extensions, and or people aren't paying their credit card bills and paying their loans like they're supposed to, possibly. But we can dive into that later. Planet Fitness shares fall as company announces a new CEO. And here we see Colleen Keating. Hey, Colleen Keating, this dog, this crazy dog. I don't know what he's doing. Max, what are you doing? New CEO. Is it because of the new CEO, or is it because of other things that have been happening to Planet Fitness here recently that has changed the sentiment amongst shareholders and investors? Hopefully their stock price doesn't fall below $1, because obviously if it falls below $1 for too long, then they'll get a warning, a notification, and possibly be delisted from the stock exchange. And it's funny because MKBHD, he was talking about this last night a little bit in regard to Fisker and some of the other companies and products that he's reviewed, as he asked the question of, do bad reviews kill companies? Do bad reviews make companies go bankrupt and go out of business? Or better yet, do bad businesses and bad products cause companies and businesses to go under and go bankrupt? Leading into the story of the day with Home Depot, loss prevention officer among 3 arrested in a massive retail theft ring. Now, I haven't read this article, but here's the deal. And I'll tell you this, and this is how it works. And this goes into businesses going bankrupt, businesses going under. Because essentially, businesses are, in essence, a community of employees and workers, and a network tied in with vendors and suppliers, and most importantly, customers. Now, with that, there's also in this community some underhanded folks and some thieves and some folks out there wanting to take rather than partake or even help to keep this business going. And it's unfortunate because for those who rely on these businesses for their job and for their income and for the goods and services that they provide and offer, they will essentially feel the biggest loss when these businesses go under. So now the big question, which has always been, but it's just getting asked more often and probably at a much louder volume, sweeping across the internet, sweeping across headlines, sweeping across different videos, and it's trending. Theft, retail theft, loss, shrink. Here's the deal, folks. In my opinion, think about it. The loss prevention personnel, loss prevention employee, manager, whoever it was, their sole purpose, their job was hired to keep the company from losing product, from it being stolen and walking out the doors, and keeping the company as profitable as they can by way of reducing and or even eliminating loss. Yet he or she or whomever, because this is just one story, one instance of someone who made headlines, who got caught, got busted. But how many more are there that are actually doing this right now, will be doing it more in the future, and just haven't been caught yet or haven't made news headlines? And here's the deal. Why would you work at Home Depot? Would you work at the Home Depot because you absolutely love it? Maybe. That could possibly be a driving factor behind why you choose to apply to work at the Home Depot. Honestly, I gotta tell you guys, working for these companies, working at these places becomes more and more of a risk, especially considering how that one senior who was probably just trying to supplement his retirement income and just get by ultimately died because somebody wanted to steal a bunch of leaf blowers or pressure washers or something and pushed the dude over, and he fell down on his way out of, you know, the guy just asking to see his receipt. And this guy probably made minimum wage, fell down, and a few weeks or months later he died as a complication of his injuries just from working at the Home Depot. Crazy stuff. But here's the deal. Most people, most jobs, odds are, honestly, what are you looking at? What are you looking at? I think Max is looking for squirrels to chase, but this fence is preventing him from accessing the squirrels. Sorry, dude. But for the most part, you apply for a job, you work a job because you want to get a paycheck. And if we look at it from the standpoint and perspective of these companies and these businesses, well, you have an opening for a role. Your opening is in loss prevention. How much are you paying loss prevention? Let's just say, even on a high side, loss prevention can earn as much money as a McDonald's employee in California and make $20 an hour, which sounds good, but is it enough? But here's the question. What is their role within the community? Because to them, they're just doing a job. But to you as an employer, as the company, as the Home Depot or whatever company it is that is employing these loss prevention staff, what is their real value? How much are they really worth to you? Because to them, they're about a paycheck. You can't just come out of your leash. Max, crazy. So they're trying to get a paycheck. They're trying to make money. They're trying to, you know, provide for their family. And unfortunately, there will be instances where they'll say to themselves, or at least be presented with an opportunity that says, hey, I know you make $20 an hour. I know you're working an 8-hour shift. I know you're making, you know, 160 bucks a day before tax. But if you could help in us facilitating these operations, then we could probably pay you, I don't know, $500 for the day, because we're going to be able to make out with thousands of dollars of product. Yeah, look, this is real talk. Companies, I hope they're listening. At the Home Depot, I don't know if the Home Depot has a YouTube channel, but you might want to listen to this, because it's not just you. But at the end of the day, look at Max. Trying to be a good boy. He wants a treat or something. At the end of the day, it comes down to what will produce the most for the worker, for the employee. And unfortunately, yes, there's a hierarchy, there's a risk, there's a challenge in this, which may mean that this loss prevention needs to be outsourced to a third-party company and contracted so that they appear to be a separate entity outside of another employee at Home Depot, as if someone, you know, you start having that break room chat, how much they paying you? And they come out and say, well, they're paying me $75 an hour. And the rest of the workers are thinking, how the hell are you getting $75 an hour? Yeah, you see what I'm saying? But if you're contracted, if you are independent, if you're third party, for instance, staffing agencies and temp workers get paid, actually, they get paid decent. But the companies that provide these temporary workers, they get paid a lot. They get paid a lot of money. And then they take theirs off the top, and then they have their operational overhead costs and fees. And then they, you know, then they pay the worker, the temp worker. But it's different because they're a temp, it's a third party company, agency. You see what I'm saying? You got to keep this stuff like to a point where it doesn't ruffle too many feathers within the community. But if I've got an employee that is supposed to be monitoring and managing and stopping and preventing loss, then I need to make sure that that employee feels as though that job is the most important thing in their life, or at least one of the most important things in their life, where it's going to take a hell of a lot for them to be persuaded and enticed to not do their job because they can make money, more money, by looking the other way. This is my thoughts. Fighter jets flying overhead. You don't realize I'm recording a video here? Come on, guys. It's okay. I'll let it fly this time. But I got my car fragrance from Hervé Lucindy, and we're rocking Sandalwood Embers. And I keep this one in the car just to stay fresh. And Michelle and I we're about to head out and hit the gym. And it's not Planet Fitness. It's not Planet Fitness, but we're gonna get out. We're gonna hit the gym this morning and get back, because she's got some videos she wants to do, and she's got a live stream she's gonna get ready for. And it's Wednesday again. It's Wednesday. It's not normal, so she's got a live stream coming. So make sure you go check out her live stream on Squirrel Trap 2.0. And there's a link down below in the description to Hervé Lucindy. Check out their website, check out their YouTube channel, check out their Instagram. And when you place an order, use the Squirrel Trap coupon code and save yourself some money. And if you want to know which fragrances to order, or at least what they smell like, then check out Squirrel Trap, because she's provided a tremendous amount of information and a deep dive on all these fragrances and their smells and their feelings and the vibes. I think it's a vibe. What do you guys think? But it only makes sense. I mean, I'm not saying that we're gonna see Home Depot paying employees $75 an hour to be loss prevention, but who knows? Maybe there is some form of incentive program by way of a bonus or profit sharing for a reduction in loss. Essentially a performance-based boost for doing a great job and keeping the company from losing more money. Granted, you might get lucky and land yourself a stellar employee like Gail Lewis, but there's no guarantee. And it's even probably a better idea for them to not be an employee, as in they won't be bound by the limitations and placed under the liability and risk of the company, for instance, the Home Depot. for chasing an employee out the door, or chasing a thief out the door, tackling someone trying to steal something. I don't know. That's your job to figure out, not mine. But I feel like it's a pretty simple concept to wrap your mind around as to why loss prevention would be engaged in allowing theft to occur, because at the end of the day, money's tight, inflation's high, interest rates are up, the cost of living is on the rise. So people are getting creative. You know, they're getting desperate in some instances. But in order for this community to survive, then we need to be smart in the way that we think about how we go about building this community and protecting this community, and most importantly, serving this community. That's it, guys. See you on the next video. Bye.